Gold Report is brought to you by Charleroi Federal Savings Bank. Quaker Valley, Keystone Oaks among the games. It is the opening week of high school football. With updates every 20 minutes, Jeff Hathorn on the home of the Pirates and Pitt, KDKA FM.
Pittsburgh's hometown sports station. All sports, all the time. 93.7.
It's the Cook and Pony Show with Ron Cook and Andrew Filipponi.
I love the back and forth, so thank you for that.
Sports Radio 93.7, The Fan, Pittsburgh's hometown sports station.
Welcome back to the show. It's Open Phone Friday on Cook and Pony. Anything you want to talk about is okay with me. We got a lot of people on hold. Let's get to them so they can have their say before I turn it over to Starkey and Muller, starting with Chuck in Oakland. Hey, Chuck. Welcome to the show. Hello, Chuck.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not bad at all. Hey, listen, a couple points I would like to make. Point one, I can't stand our Steelers Nation fans sometimes. Just because we had a subpar preseason, that doesn't mean that we're going to have a terrible regular season. The glass is half full. And a thing about Cowher, I love Cowher as a coach. I just thought that sometimes Cowher was a great regular season coach, and I thought that sometimes he just got out-coached in the playoffs. Mike Tomlin, same deal. I think he's a fantastic regular season coach, but sometimes it just seems like he gets out-coached in a big game. That's all I wanted to say. I'm in your corner. I believe the Steelers are going to win the division as well.
I do, Chuck, but I think a lot of the unrest, though, has more to do with just the bad postseason. They missed the playoffs the last 2 years. They were 8-8.
Yeah, but as you say, you took some of my steam away. As you say, they were the last 2 seasons. They were right down to the wire. Right there,
they get a better call in the San Diego game, Kansas City game. The guy makes the field goal from Kansas City. They're in the playoffs. But you know what? They didn't deserve it. They were 8-8 last year. But he kept it together after an 0-4 and a 2-6 start. They finished strong. They still haven't had a losing season. I know that's not good enough here, and I understand why there's some unrest. And I'd like to see them make the playoffs this year. I think they have a real chance of doing that. Dan in East Palestine. Hey, Dan, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of weigh in on this. I'm probably more Cowher than Tomlin. But I just wanted to say, it just seems like when Bill Cowher had the team, it was a little more disciplined, a little tighter ship. Tomlin's a little more loose with some of the things, and it just seems like there's been a little bit more problems popping up here and there. And some key areas don't get addressed as much as it used to. And maybe it's just me, maybe it's just because I was younger when Cowher was there.
Yeah. My understanding is that Mike Tomlin is much more of a disciplinarian than Cowher was, and I base this on, I remember talking to Jerome Bettis when Plexico Burris left the Steelers to go to New York to play for Tom Coughlin, and Jerome said, I don't know how Plexico is going to survive there. Coach Cowher let him get away with everything. He could show up late for planes, show up late for meetings, show up late for this, do that, and he said he never had to answer for it. He won't get away with that in New York. So I'm just telling you what Jerome said about how he treated Plexico. Maybe that was an individual case. My personal belief is Tomlin is more of a disciplinarian than Cowher was. And I'm not saying Cowher was a bad one. That's all. So that's just my opinion. I'm telling you what I know as far as I know it. Nathan, you're on the Fan. Hey, Nathan, how are you?
Not bad. How you doing, Ron?
Good.
Yeah, I was just going to make 2 comments. One of the previous guys called in about how the Denver game was one of the worst losses. I would just want to comment on how the Super Bowl in '95 was one of the worst losses, and also that the loss we took to the Patriots when Tom Brady came in the game wasn't even as good as he was now and beat on the Steelers. And
all the playoff losses are tough, Nathan. I thought the one against San Diego at home in the AFC Championship game in '94, San Diego wasn't all that good. The weather was no factor. You think maybe Pittsburgh would have a big advantage over San Diego. I thought that was the worst loss, but I'm not going to defend the Denver loss. It was humiliating. You lose to a guy that couldn't play quarterback in the league, had the game of his life, and I'm talking about Tim Tebow. That was humiliating for the Steelers. So I'm not going to sit here and say that wasn't a terrible loss.
Right.
Nah,
They've had some. They've had some. Every time you lose in the playoffs when you're the favorite, and that was part of the problem with Cowher. He lost a lot of AFC championship games at home. You shouldn't lose those at home, right?
Right.
All right, Nathan, thanks, man. Appreciate the phone call. Let's move on to Xavier from Connecticut. How are you, man?
I'm good, Ron. What's going on?
You tell me.
Listen, here's the thing. And let me pre-qualify this by saying I'm a 45-year-old black man, so I can relate to Tomlin. I mean, his age category and everything. But here's the thing. Bill Cowher took over a team that had Bucky Brissett at quarterback. He went to the Super Bowl with the likes of Neil O'Donnell and AFC Championship games with the likes of Mike Jackson, Cordell Stewart. Now, don't get me wrong, I had my problems with him and, the playoff conservativeness and everything and lose all the championship games. But when he got Ben Roethlisberger, he was 16-1, 13-3, won the Super Bowl until he nailed that last year in. Mike Tomlin took over a team. Yeah, we can go into the semantics that he didn't take over a Super Bowl team. But what he took over was a team that had a young franchise quarterback in his prime that had already had a taste of winning a Super Bowl and a team that had already had a taste of winning and knew what it took to win a Super Bowl. So to compare, we just throw out arbitrary numbers and make it seem like the two scenarios are similar, but they don't even compare as far as I'm concerned. Tomlin is nowhere near the coach that Cowher was. If Mike Tomlin, if Bill Cowher had a franchise quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger his entire career, it wouldn't even be a debate.
Xavier, you make a great point. You make some great points, actually. That was a terrific call. I don't agree with everything that you said. You still have other people to coach besides the franchise quarterback, and I think it's tough when you take over a new team, as Tomlin did when he wasn't the first choice of the players. But you make an excellent point, and very reasoned argument. But all you can do is coach the guys you have, and I think people think that Tomlin's just done this by mirrors, and I think that's wrong.
I definitely give him some credit because another coach could have taken the team over and gone the other direction. So somebody has to come in and keep the ship going in the right direction. But, he has had the ball his whole career. The offense has always been Ben Roethlisberger's offense. So I don't think if Mike Tomlin was coaching guys like Mike Tomzak and Neil O'Donnell and Cordell Stewart, that we'd even be having this conversation.
Well, I think Cordell was a pretty good quarterback. And I think Neil O'Donnell had a real big year in '95 and was pretty good and ended up getting a lot of money from the Jets because of it. Mike Tomzak, you can argue Kent Graham, some of the other guys they had to run out there. But that's also part of the, he's also responsible for the player personnel, so the head coach has to take some blame for that, just like Tomlin with his defense right now. A lot of that is on his shoulders. The guys he's drafted haven't been good enough. So, I see your argument, though, and I think it's a very reasoned one.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. You can put me in, I guess you could call me a mixed bag when it comes to Tomlin, because he does have his merits, but I definitely have some problems with him as well. But I'm just going to keep.
But did you have problems with Cowher when he was here?
I did.
People couldn't wait for Cowher to get out of town when he left.
To be honest with you, before he got done, I wasn't sure he was ever going to win a Super Bowl. So that was, I was wrong in that regard. Right? We're never going to win with Cowher. We're never going to win with Cowher. Then he got Ben, and everything went to the next level. So